Welcome back once again to Urban X-Files. My name is Keith, and today's story is a ghost called Fred. Many years ago, my wife and I were living in a rented flat in an otherwise empty house in Sandgate, Kent. One night as we were sleeping, I awoke momentarily and saw a small ball of light in a particularly partially opened window. It went around the room and it hovered by the bed and then squeezed through the keyhole and out into the hall. My initial reactions were that it was a ball of lightning or some kind of insect or firefly, and then went off back to sleep again. Shortly after, we started noticing things that were disappearing from one place where we put the keys down, and it would reappear in another room. And this would happen when there was only one person in the house. There was no one else around. And we also would hear running water and splashing, and find on investigation our bathroom sink was full of soapy water. And as my wife was reaching for bed one day, she felt a hand squeeze hers from an angle that was impossible for me to have achieved. We often woke up together feeling that something was standing by the bed. My wife had a very frightening experience whilst going to the toilet. Someone started rattling the doorknob and groaning. Having completed in record time what she was doing, she came looking for me with murder in her heart, only to find me outside with the neighbour. Even stranger, later in the kitchen, someone whispered over my wife's shoulder, "Sorry," and then proceeded to hug her. Yet there was nobody there. One night we moved the furniture around and then retired to bed. I was awoken in the middle of the night when something pulling my hair quite hard. As I had a skinhead haircut, this was a surprise. I woke my wife, and being a bit of a coward, afraid this is true, I asked her to cross the room and switch the light on. She did, and it let go of my hair. With the light on, we could see at the other side of the room our pet mice were out on a table and their cage had been knocked over. Presumably, the ghost had stumbled into them because of the new furniture layout. We came to call the ghost Fred. Not sure why. He used to make his presence felt every now and again. And for some reason, he used to steal Christmas cake slices. Perhaps he was Santa. My wife would often shout aloud that he could stay if he didn't ever show himself to her. Fred had his uses and was good at recovering lost or misladen items. I had to produce my driving documents for the police and couldn't find them, so I asked, "If you know where they are, Fred, can you leave them out?" My wife and I returned from work to find them laid out on the kitchen worktop. One day, as I was hanging a picture on a beam near the ceiling, the frame broke and a large sheet of glass fell out the edge, first towards my bare feet and the stepladder held by my wife. I thought I was going to lose my toes with the sharpness of the edges, but the glass stopped a few inches away from my feet, hovered, then smashed into the wall horizontally. My wife said she hoped Fred hadn't hurt himself, and later that day a message was written on the mirror that said F-O-K in some ghastly clear jelly. Could this have been that Fred is okay? Oh. Now, a curiously modern turn of phrase, especially when you consider that he had left the previous message in Latin. Salutate gratis, i.e. visitors, welcome. Once I thought we had burglars due to footsteps upstairs. I went and got the neighbour and his two burly sons. We searched every room but was unable to find anything. Yet when we were standing on the stairs discussing this, we heard footsteps on the landing at eye level. We turned and all of us saw the carpet depressed by unseen feet as they walked from one room to the other. One particular occasion, I was supposed to pick up my wife from college at a certain time. I kept clock watching for half an hour before I was due to set off for my wife, and she walked into the front door, extremely angry. She asked why I had not picked it up, and when we realised that every clock in the flat had been altered by at least an hour, even my wristwatch, I later discovered there had been a 4-car pile-up at the college roughly the same time as I would have picked my wife up. Was Fred feeling it, displaying his precognition, and helped save us from a terrible car accident? When we moved to a new house, we invited Fred to come every now and then, and he still does odd things, but we don't feel he lives with us, but he only visits. We only live about 3 miles across the sea bay from Fred's flat, and his frequent visits started to get less and less. Perhaps he got new residents in his house and decided he liked them, or preferred to be a little bit mischievous. Thank you for watching today's story. Hope you enjoyed it. If so, smash the like, take care, and see you all in the next